All right. Hello again, Avengers, and welcome to another exciting episode of my daily vlog. This is daily vlog number 84, and today I've got absolutely nothing. There's been a few things happening on the interwebs that have annoyed me, but not enough that I wish to express my opinion on them. They just annoy me. Yeah. I've been playing an unhealthy amount of Dragon's Dogma 2. It's a fantastic game. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't know anybody at Capcom. I'm just having a lot of fun. Okay, there is a class. It's called like the Mystic Spear Hand, I think is what it's called. They call them vocations in that, but it's a class. And as soon as I booted up the game, I knew that I wanted to do this because the Mystic Spear Hand, their thing is they're a hybrid kind of like physical magical class, because you have physical classes that have swords and hammers and stuff. Then you have magic classes that cast magic, and then you have green classes, which is basically I shoot you with an arrow or I stab you with daggers. Those are the classes that you have. Mystic Spear Hand is a hybrid red-blue, so a hybrid physical and magic class. Okay, cool. Well, the lore of them is there aren't like tons of them just wandering around the world. No, it's one dude. This one dude that lives in a fishing village created this fighting style where he took two spears, put them together, so now he has like this double sword spear looking thing, and created this fighting style specifically to hunt dragons. Now, there is only one dragon in the entire world, and this dragon is really important because when the dragon appears, this is lore for just Dragon's Dogma in general, when the dragon appears, he will pick a random dude, generally some random dude in a fishing village that this dragon just decided he wanted to eat. And instead of eating this particular dude, he shoves his claw into the dude's chest and rips his heart out, and then that dude becomes the Arisen. And that was the first Dragon's Dogma that's ever started, the second Dragon's Dogma. So, dragons, really big deal. But there's only one in the entire world. There's lesser dragons, but they generally don't show up until the bigger dragon shows up. And the whole point of the Arisen is the Arisen goes on a wonderful quest to kill the dragon. And then the dragon dies, and it's not seen for another, generation. So that's a really weird thing. Like, there's tons of other... There's ogres, there's cyclopses, or cyclops, whatever the plural of cyclops is. There's griffins. I keep getting attacked by this stupid griffin that shows up, and then I beat the snot out of him. Right as I'm about to kill him, he flies away because he's a jackass. And there's chimeras. Like, there's all these really horrible, disgusting beasts. You choose to focus on the one that is the least populous. But it's a really cool class because you get this like double sword thing that you get to do cool shit with. And then you also get magic shit as well. Like you have this like dash maneuver where you go forward and you stab them. You have jump. Like basically you're a dragoon with a double-ended spear. And so you have a jump. They have a fancy name for it. It's jump. Where somebody tries to attack you and you just go shunk and you appear in the air and then come down and destroy them. And then my personal favorite, there's this thing where you take the spear and you just kind of bring it back like staff weapon style from Stargate. And you like point your hand and then you can like aim the controller stick. And you charge up power and then you shoot the largest concentration of magic that exists in the world. And it's like you're firing a little mini nuke from your spear. It does crazy damage and it takes all of your stamina. And so, yeah, I've been having an absolute blast just running around killing people with my double sword thing. So, yeah. For those of you that don't know, let's get this back to RPGs just so I can have something that kind of relates to what this channel normally focuses on. In third edition, I think is the only edition that's really ever used them. They might have had them in fourth edition, but I'd have to look again. In third edition D&D, they added a weapon. It was an exotic weapon. No class got proficiency with it off the bat. Even fighters, you had to take a feat to be able to use the weapon. But the weapon was called, I think it was like a double sword. And what it was literally that. It was, the hilt of like a great sword. So it was kind of big. And then sword on this end, sword on the other end. And so that was a kind of weapon in the third edition. And I love those like saber staff style weapons. Like, the double-bladed lightsaber from Darth Maul, coolest thing ever. Saber staff things, they're really, really cool. And so if you ever pick up my custom class that I made for D&D 5th edition, it's called, I have two of them. The first one is called the Dragon Knight. It's a platinum bestseller on the DM's Guild. And the thing about the Dragon Knight is each subclass, which you choose your subclass at level 1, each subclass has their own special dragon weapon that they use. And I can't remember the name of it, so I'm actually going to look it up. Because I have all my stuff on my computers. DM's Guild Creation Dragon Knight. When is the most recent version? 1.6. So let's open up. It does look pretty. Draconic Calling. Warblade. That's what it's called. So, the Warblade subclass, which I call them Draconic Callings. The Warblade subclass gives you a weapon, and I'm going to see called the Double Blade is what it is. And it's literally all that is you actually take two weapons and fuse them together to create your double blade. And they don't have to be the same. Like you can have a sword and a mace, or like an axe and a hammer, or a sword and axe, whatever you want. And there's rules and everything about how to use it. But basically, because of how I've built that particular weapon, it's a two-handed weapon, but it's effectively dual wielding. And it doesn't technically use the two-weapon fighting rules, but I create some specific properties for every weapon. Like each different weapon has its own kind of special properties that effectively allows you to dual wield, which I'm a big fan of. And it's a really, really fun fighting style. I've played weapons, or I've played characters that use like a saber staff in like Dark Souls. Dark Souls, they've had saber staffs at least since Dark Souls 2. I remember them that. Can't remember if they had them in Dark Souls 1. They got them in Dark Souls 3. They've got them in Elden Ring. I just really love the just kind of idea of this really cool double-bladed weapon that you can spin around. And it might have everything to do with the fact that I'm actually a really big fan of staves and like martial arts staff work. Like I've done some study into bow staff and staff spinning and things like that. I really, really enjoy it, and it looks really, really cool. But one of the problems with a staff is generally staves are wooden, and because of that, they are generally not incredibly sturdy. Like if you are fighting against someone in armor, you're not going to do, even if you have a metal one, it runs into issues because the more sturdy you make it, the heavier it gets, and a lot of the power you get from it is from centrifugal force and spinning and making sure that your hits that, and it's a really unpredictable weapon because a lot of people don't realize that when you're wielding a staff, when you wield it, you'll have one hand here and one hand here, and you kind of force it like this. And you can attack with both ends, but one of the things that can really mess up your opponent is you shift your grip. And what that means is the distance where you are in range to get hit with the staff is constantly changing. And an attack that missed you seconds before can hit you by just having them shift where they're holding the staff. And so it's a really, really interesting, unique weapon. So it's one of the reasons why I like sword. And I like the whole spinny thing. Like, that just looks cool. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of that recently. I didn't get the new Final Fantasy VII game back in February, specifically because, first of all, I was real low on money, and second of all, I was just going to save up so I could get Dragon's Dogma 2. I've had absolute blast with it. If any of you guys have heard that it's this microtransaction hell, it's a complete and utter lie. There are no microtransactions in it whatsoever. There's a list of DLC, none of which can be purchased in-game, none of which uses an in-game currency, which is typical of microtransactions in general. They, in order to feed on a lot of psychological processes that exist, microtransactions need to be relatively simple to get, and they like to kind of disguise them by using a premium currency that you trade your real money for premium currency, then use premium currency to make the microtransactions because it hides how much you're spending in your brain. None of that happens with Dragon's Dogma 2. They just have a bunch of things that you can buy. Most of them are one-time purchases. And all of them, aside from 2, you can get... Not only can you get them in-game, you can get them really cheap in the game. Like, none of these are things that are like, oh man, I desperately... Nope. And the 2 things that you can't get in-game are basically alternate versions of things that already exist in the game. And the only reason you can buy them is they're part of the deluxe edition. And so if you don't want to buy the deluxe edition, but you wanted one of those 2, like one of them is a tent. It's a camping kit. And all it does is it makes your tent look slightly different. Doesn't change anything in the game. Oh, and it's a little bit lighter, which, again, isn't that big a deal. So yeah, all this stuff where people are review bombing Dragon's Dogma, completely blown out of proportion. The fact that it runs like shit on PC, that is perfectly fine. But I play it on PS5, so I've had no issues. That is a completely legitimate thing to be upset about. Microtransaction stuff isn't real. It just has a bunch of DLC, the vast majority of which is not worth purchasing. And they're like $1 or $2 a piece, but I don't consider them microtransactions because they don't operate like microtransactions. You can't buy them in game. You have to stop playing the game in order to get them. They have limited amounts because they're DLC. Once you own the DLC, you can't buy it again for yourself. So they're limited in how much you can get them. And the vast majority, like all of them, are easily obtainable in game without really working. So, yeah, the one thing that people have pointed out, the idea that it locks fast travel behind DLC. Nope, completely untrue. You can buy, they have these things called port stones or something like that. That what happens is you can find up to 10 of them in the entire game. And that includes if you buy the one in the store, that means you can only find 9 of them because you can never have more than 10 in the game. So what happens is you have these port stone things, and then if you're in an area that you want to be able to fast travel back to, you can drop a port stone, and now that becomes a place that you can teleport to, and the port stone just stays there. However, the port stone is completely useless if you don't have fairy stones, which are the thing that you actually use to fast travel, and you can't buy them. Well, you can buy them in the game with gold, but you can't buy them in the store, so it doesn't lock fast travel behind that. And there's a completely separate fast travel system, which is basically riding on a cart, and you can't buy that either, and it's unbelievably cheap. It's 100 gold. You can get 100 gold from killing a single enemy. A single low level, like the lowest level enemy in the game, you can kill it and get like 300 or 400 gold from it. So, yeah, and that's just completely bullshit. And then other people were saying, well, in order to create a new character, you have to buy DLC. Nope, not true at all. You actually can't create a new character, which they're working on fixing, which was a dumb idea. And the thing that they're talking about is there's basically a thing that allows you to redo the cosmetic look of your character. So basically, it's like you get to redesign the look of your character. It doesn't reset any of your points. It doesn't start the game over or anything like that. Like, you're the same character. You just changed your face and body. And that particular thing exists in the game. You can buy them, I believe, an unlimited amount, and they're 500 Rift Crystals, which is a thing that the only thing you use it for is to summon pawns. And as long as the pawn is your level or lower, it's free. So I have used maybe a grand total of like 200 or 300 Rift Crystals in like the 20 some odd hours I've been playing. So it's another just blatant lie that's designed to get people upset. None of it's true. Dragon's Dogma 2, if it works, which again, consoles it works fine. It's just PC for whatever reason doesn't. Is a great game. It's super fun. It's very Dragon's Dogma. So if you didn't like the first game, there's a good chance you might not like the second one, though they do improve quite a few different other things. Anyway, yeah, that's all I've been doing for the last few days. So, anyway, I got work to do on stuff, because you guys are starting to get a little antsy about this Essence 20 stuff, especially with the review, and I still have to finish my designing new dragons content for Avatar. So I'm going to see if I can't knock out something in the next few days here. Anyway, it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.